Welcome to the channel Gadgets for Gentlemen. In this video I'm going to compare the Apple Watch SE. This is the 2020 edition, comparing it to the Apple Watch SE 2022 edition. I have them right here, and in this video I want to share with you just some information about these two devices. Currently, Apple only sells the Apple Watch SE2 or 2022 in the Apple Store. This version can no longer be bought in the Apple Store, but you can probably find some very sweet deals online. In a nutshell, we're dealing here with two very similar Apple Watches in terms of design and in terms of size and most of the hardware as well as functionality. In this video I want to show you just a couple of things that I noticed. First of all, this Apple Watch has the brand new chipset, the S8, which makes it about 20% faster compared to the original Apple Watch SE, which works on the S5 chip. SE stands for Special Edition. Basically, Apple gives you a whole lot of Apple Watch for a reduced price. You can also call it the Simple Edition because it lacks some of the features that you can find in the more expensive Series 8 as well as the Ultra. Very briefly, one of the main differences between these Apple Watch SE watches compared to the Apple Watch 8 and Ultra is the lack of an always-on display. The lack of a couple of sensors. Other than that, basically, you're dealing here with very similar watches. Also, one difference is we're dealing here with a 40mm case, while the Series 8 deals with a 41mm case, making the Apple Watch 8 in daily use much better to use because it has a bigger display. I think it is about 20% bigger because the reduction of bezels on the Series 8. But if you are on a tight budget, then I can highly recommend these Apple Watch SE models because you pretty much have all the features of the Apple Watch that are really important. And you just deal with a few, let's just say, shortcuts. For example, the lack of always-on display. You have a little bit of bigger bezels compared to the Series 8, but that's pretty much it in my honest opinion as an average user. Now let's focus on the key differences between these two models. So if you want to buy an Apple Watch but don't want to break the bank, then the Apple Watch Series SE is really valuable. I already showed you the difference in processor between the newer edition and the SE, the original one. We're dealing with the S8 chip and the S5 chip, making this watch 20% faster compared to this one, which I think in daily use is just excellent. So I would highly recommend going for this one. So what also changed, with the Series SE you had fall detection. What's new with the Series SE2 is crash detection, which means if you are in a car crash, your watch will connect with your phone and call emergency services. So that's one difference between the two, but that's basically, in my opinion, the biggest differences. The chip, which is pretty much the heart of the watch, it's very important, as well as the new feature, the crash detection. Other than that, and this I will show you in this video, are just small differences. So with the SE2 you have 3 colors to choose from, which is Midnight, which I have right here and which I really love. We have Starlight and we have Silver. Now, one subtle difference, as you might notice here, is the case back of this watch. This is made from a nylon material, which looks different from the ceramic material that we have with the original SE, which I prefer. I think this case back just looks better compared to this composite material. Now also a small difference that we noticed on the case back. Now previously with the Apple Watches I always purchased the Nike edition that we can see right here. We can see that Nike swoosh on the case back. Now when I wanted to purchase the Apple Watch SE2, I couldn't find a Nike version. So here we have the Nike watch band on the original SE1, and then here with the original Apple Watch box with that Nike logo. I always bought the Nike version because I really love this strap with these perforated holes. I think it looks nice, it wears very comfortable. And second of all, these incredible Nike watch faces. Now when I wanted to buy the SE2, I was looking for a Nike version. I couldn't find it anywhere. Turns out, now you can have Nike watch faces on any of the newer Apple Watches, and therefore there is no special Nike edition anymore. So there is no Nike logo as we can see here on the case back. It's just all Apple Watch. There's no Apple Watch and Apple Watch Nike Plus edition. It's just the same. So that is one very subtle difference between these watches. So now you just have Apple Watch. This is the original watch box. Now let's proceed with another minor detail between these two watches. And I'm talking here from a focal point here in Europe, in the Netherlands. So depending on where you live, your situation might differ. But when I bought these watches, with the normal Apple Watch, the SE, the first edition, came this, and on the other side of this cable, you can find USB-A, which is your regular USB cable, without a brick to charge it. So Apple expects you to have this kind of brick laying around from your iPhone, which, you know, makes sense, but still, I was a bit bothered why Apple did not provide another brick with the Apple Watch. I mean, why not? So this is how it works with the Apple Watch SE, the first edition. Sorry for this, it's difficult through the viewfinder, trust me. Now with the SE2 came this new cable, which I was quite surprised with. I didn't know that the SE2 came with a USB-C cable. So here we have that same kind of charging thing. This is the cable, but this time there's no longer this flat cable laying around on this side, but USB-C, which looks quite updated. And I bought myself this original Apple 20 watt fast charger with that USB-C. Also, with the Apple Watch SE, just came this cable. There was no brick, so this was sold separately. And this is how you can charge it. So that's just a small difference between these two watches. We have different watch boxes, we have different charging cables, USB-C versus USB-A. And that's about it. We have different straps because this is very Nike edition kind of strap. This is the regular one. And that's pretty much it. These watches, they are really amazing. I don't notice much of the speed difference between these two, but I just loved to try out the new version. So I bought the Apple Watch SE2. I just like to play around with that new hardware and see how they look like. But pretty much it's quite similar. The SE2, it seems to be a bit snappier, a bit more responsive. Other than that, not much has changed. The color, as you can see, is a bit different. I'm a big fan of space gray. However, I think this blue color even looks better, but that's a very personal taste. I do think the original case back of the Apple Watch SE looks much better compared to this composite material, but I think it's a good thing for Apple to to try to reduce costs in manufacturing, and realizing this Apple Watch retailed for $279 2 years ago, or in 2020, 3 years ago already, while this one retails for $249, I believe. I think that's fair to have, I think maybe a less pretty case back, but also a lower price tag. I think that's not a bad deal. This was my video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will look into them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was useful. Again, if you're planning to pull the trigger, I can highly recommend Apple Watch SE. If money is not an issue, definitely go with the newer edition because of the updates that you will be receiving in the future, as well as a little bit of snappier performance. As well, God forbid you ever in a car crash, but you have the crash detection. If you are on a very tight budget, you can probably pick up the SE1 for a very sweet deal. And still, in this time, I don't think it's a bad deal to do. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and see you soon.